All right, good evening, everyone. What's wrong with my All right, hold on. I think I know the problem. There we go. Let's try again here. There we go. Look, come on. Got the camera working now. And 54-44. How did you feel like that reflected how things went in the first?
I think it reflected it fairly well. I thought that was an offensive struggle overall for the Oklahoma City Thunder, both through the eye test and through the statistics. They had a 102 overall offensive rating and 83 first shot, and I thought that helped cue Dallas's transition offense, which was wonderful.
Yeah, they got a lot of dunks up. I thought OKC actually had moments where their offense has looked as good as it has in this series. Most of those were with Joe on the floor. We're going to see that starting. The big difference here is that with Joe out there, they have to put the center on Chet because they need a hiding spot for Luka. Now they go at Luka, going to try to get Joe turning the corner. Kicks it out to Chet. Doesn't take the three. Tries to drive and goes absolutely nowhere. He's got to just take that three, but he hasn't been making it, and then he just throws it away. The Chet drives have been awful in this series. Here's Gafford. Going to just go right at Dort, and he scores. Wow, nice touch by Daniel Gafford. They'll take that shot, but he made it.
And confident drive by him, and Dort able to move Lou Dort because he's a big, huge man.
Here's Chet, going to try to go and catch, goes nowhere again. Here's Joe. He lost it. Goes right to Dort, though. Here's Jalen Williams on the attack. Reach in by Jones Jr. Here's Dort eluding Luka. Now they set up Shea for the wide open shot, and he drains it. They needed that one.
Not a high turnover first half for either team, but that's something to watch in the second because that was, of course, big for Dallas in game 4.
Yeah, I think defensively, Shea has come to play. Not a lot of the other Thunder have so far. They're going to try and go after Joe here. Dort gets over the screen. They kick it corner. Here's Irving on the drive, and Gafford pushes Holmgren out of the way. He sealed off Holmgren, and that probably has been the biggest difference, I would say, in this game, other than some of the OKC just not taking advantage of some of their chances, is Holmgren has been ineffective as a rim protector for various reasons, including them just scoring on him, as we're going to get a hold here on Jones Jr. as Chet tried to slip out of things.
Who do you think has been the best player on the floor so far today?
And Shea has missed a lot of shots that he normally would from his office near the dotted line. I mean, Doncic has been he's been what they've needed him to be. Maybe he's still not at the total level that he needs to be. Here's Williams firing the three. Can't get that. It was open, but he didn't quite get his feet set. Oh, and then they just throw it away. Chet didn't even see the ball. It goes right to Dort. They should get out of the way of Shea here. Shea on the drive, and he goes right in. Where is PJ Washington to help on that play? He never moved.
That's bad delay. And Washington does have 3 fouls. He's the only player in the game with 3.
Jones Jr. hasn't missed a three yet. Just in and out. Joe running down the rebound. It's loose. He's got it. OKC can get transition here. Shea has Washington. Likes that matchup. Goes to the in and out lefty dribble. Now fadeaway. Nice job by Gafford coming over. Shea couldn't find Chet on the perimeter. Now they throw it weak side. Chet will fire the three, and he still can't hit one. And he's got to just be able to make that shot. Like, that's what he's supposed to be. Everything is relying on him be able to make that shot. Luka wants to bring Joe into the screening action again with 10 on the clock. Pretty slow possession. Good screen by Jones Jr. They find him. 2-on-1 against Chet. And there's Gafford. Nice job there between Jones Jr. and Gafford. Luka, they have not had much success going at Chet and pick and roll. So now they're going at Joe instead, and that's getting that 2 on the ball and releasing someone to the rim again. Here's Joe going to try to make a pay on the other end, hit a pick and pop 3 at the end of the first, and now we're going to get a loose ball foul on Jones, preventing Joe. I would say Joe has brought a pretty high energy level.
He has. Just the stats on Dallas's rim attacks. They're 11 for 11 in the restricted area so far, and then another 6 for 11 from the upper paint. And that's also I think OKC has Yeah, 0 blocked shots in the game.
Yeah, after Chet coming in, opponents were shooting 41% when he contested. Has not had the effect.
And to answer the question, for me, Luka has clearly been the best part in the game so far.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now Shea rejects the screen. They kick it to the corner. Dallas's closeouts have been pretty good. Here's Williams going left. He liked that, but left it well short. Dort is now out of the play. Luka ahead, and he has to be picked up by Chet. Goes to the step back on him, and I thought that was very poor by Luka. Lively keeping it alive, but now it's going to lead to some transition. Here's Joe looking to pull up, stepping back, and can't hit it, and Chet can't get the rebound.
Yeah, nice job there by PJ Washington. I thought Holmgren had position, but Washington beat him to the ball.
Here's Lively on the roll. Kick out. Jones is wide open. Nobody made another rotation to Jones, but he's missed 2 straight now after going 3 for 3 from 3 and 15 points. And now Luka is going to pick up the foul, and Luka can't complain because he got that exact same call twice in the first half.
Only Doncic's first personal foul, though it is the 3rd team foul, I believe, on Dallas in the quarter. So that's early for 3.
Yeah, I thought a bad step back by Luka in transition and a bad step back by Joe in transition. Into the corner it is Joe. He tries Irving, almost stepped out of bounds. Along the baseline, Shea sets up the grinder. Here's Williams getting past Lively. Good closeouts, but finally they get a wide open 3 from their best shooter, and they can't make it.
OKC now 7 for 26 from long range. That's 27%.
Yeah, now that's way more threes than they want to be taking, as Dort is now going to pick up a call holding Lively. Dort tried to get over the screen, but Lively made it appear as though Dort was holding him from rolling out of there. And yeah, that's probably an illegal screen on Lively. Always a tough one. He does have a habit of getting his legs pretty wide. Better for our business, playback on YouTube. I don't think it really matters all that much. Maybe YouTube, just
you
you can give
you give us a like on YouTube and all that. Yeah, that's great.
It's a little more algorithmic than playback is. I appreciate the question, though.
Yeah, it's a nice question to ask.
Yeah, we appreciate that too, Bricklayer Joe. Should be proud of the community we built. No trolls, just real hoops fans. Yeah, well, part of that's because every once in a while one will show up and then we just block them. But yeah, no, it's been great. You guys are amazing, and you definitely just the questions boost our coverage, keep us honest as well if we get something wrong or pointing stuff out that we're missing. So it's great to have you guys on board.
For sure, we appreciate you following us into our new ventures as well. Like we've done a lot of these iterations.
Here's Green. They're looking to post up Luka now, but good job by Joe sloughing off. Late clock. Luka going to try to back in here. They bring Chet over on the strong side. Lively trying to carve out space. Luka fires. Nice tip out by Green. It'll be Jones. Oh, sorry, Washington.
DJ.
Excuse me, with the big dunk. He dunked it like he was Derek Jones Jr.
And it has been a quiet game for PJ Washington in part because of his foul trouble, but he can still provide rebounds and scoring when he's out there.
Dallas up 13. It's taking a similar feel to the last 2 games at this point in time. Here's Shea. Blow by. Yeah, that was really nice there. And that's the setup that they had at the end of game 4. Shea in a position to drive whoever the center is guarding in the strong side corner so they can't help. This is going to be Washington wide open for 3. Nice little flare screen set by Green. And Dallas surges in front. They've outscored OKC by 4 here. Only 7 points in 5 minutes again for the Thunder.
It has been a challenge for them to generate good offense with consistency. You're right that they have a couple things they can lean on. And also the larger portion, when we'll see how much Shea sits in the fourth quarter. But the longer Dallas can hold this kind of a lead when there's still going to be some non-Shea minutes, it's going to be hard for OKC. Let's take some questions. 2 days off until game 6, heavy minutes for the Stars the whole second half. I was actually thinking about that in the first half. The idea that this is a longer gap between and not a whole lot of travel, so we could see some bigger workloads for these guys. And this is an important game 5, even though I don't think it's necessarily like, oh, it's the winner of this one is definitely winning the series. They have a massive advantage because even if you want to say that the underdog, the team that has to win 2, even if they were favored in both games, which they would not be, would still be a hard road. Does J-Dub's play make you reevaluate his ceiling? Not particularly. I mean, ceiling stuff, that's going to take a lot of years, a lot of development. But it is a reminder that as good as he played, as well as he played this year, he still has a long way to go and to be like that great player. And it's funny that we talked about him, like when we were doing player rankings, we are talking about him with Jaylen Brown. And so does Jaylen Brown. Like Jaylen Brown isn't a perfect player either. And so it is a reminder of the limitations that he's not like an offense unto himself. But I also think that Williams being the primary defender on Kyrie and doing these other things has been a reminder of the other things that he can do well too. Let's take a look. Given how difficult it's been for the Thunder to score against the Mavs, what would it look like against the Wolves? It would be tough. And I think that Chris Finch, Chris Finch can do a good job using his personnel. They have so much length at different positions. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a very hard guy to guard. But I think Minnesota would make it hard. That, to me, would be a very defensive series.
Why has Jaden Harden been playing? Because Dante Exum isn't. And they felt like they were just too limited. And Hardy, particularly attacking from 3, where Exum just hasn't really been hitting. I didn't think Exum was that bad last game, but I think they just wanted to get some more playmakers out there. And also, I think when you put a guy in who's not a great defender, who hasn't been playing, you kind of surprise the other team, and like they don't have it in their plan to go attack that guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I've not read the Shams article yet since it came out during this game. So obviously I'll take a look at that a little bit later.
Yeah, I haven't read it either. I did not contribute towards it.
Yeah, here's a look at this strong side corner getting Shet out there, and Shea could just rip through, and there's nobody really as a low man, particularly with PJ Washington guarding J Dub. Nobody, and also since he's at that right elbow, he can rip through and go, and it's too far to get there unless you're really a guy who's going to cover some ground, which none of the guys who are on the weak side are. Dallas going a little zone here against the ATO. Shea gets to his spot. Good look and drains it. And looks like Green may have stepped on his foot and sprained his ankle a little bit. Wallace trying to pressure up Washington. They're trying to save Luka from having to do that. Drop coverage by Chet. Luka trying to carve out space. Tough fadeaway. Can't get off the ground at all. Here's a chance. He's behind the play now. Dort going to push it to Wallace. Wallace hit a 3 in that situation in game 4. Now Shea going to try Washington. Goes at him. No foul call. And Lively was there to prevent him from getting all the way to the backboard.
It does seem like OKC's transition defense has been better in the second half.
Yeah, now it's Irving guarded by Chet. This is interesting. Chet trying to force him left. Wallace comes over. Irving gets to his right, and he's going to set this up. Everybody goes flying. Air ball by Green, but more offensive rebound. Luka gets his legs into this one and drains it. Still flatter than his shot normally is, I would say, but you could see he really tried to get his legs into that one.
3 of 7 overall from 3 for Luka Doncic.
Yeah, much better than he's been, of course.
Yes.
Now they've been switching Lively on. Here's J Dub kicking to Dort, and we're going to get a defensive 3 here. I think it's going to be Washington they get for that. So Shea will get a cheapie as Dallas still up by 15. Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest problems is that the Thunder just aren't making their shots. Like, I think they've had
Sure.
some pretty good looks when they're good shooters. They don't now. They really want to be, in the low 30s for the game generally, and just taking better ones. But with the Dallas rim protection, that's not available. I think they've been getting pretty decent ones.
Yeah, I mean, they're 10 of 33 on jump shots overall.
So Giddy is in, and the first half I thought was something I was worried about. Where if they didn't start him, as he is going to get a layup here again. You see, that's the same setup, by the way, with Shea, and then the whoever the big is guarding in the strong side corner. They scored off it again. And what's this? Look, oh yeah, shot clock. Yeah, they keep trying to go to that here, and I would, given how desperate the situation is, I think you run that until they stop it.
Might as well. It's been one of the best things going for them.
Yeah, and we've seen like Houston, for example, at a notable game like this back in the bubble against Milwaukee, where they just put PJ Tucker in the strong side corner with Brook Lopez guarding him. James Harden would drive right at Brook Lopez. That's a great play defensively. Lively goes flying. Giddy traveled. No, he got fouled. Oh, bailed out. I thought he landed there.
Yeah, I thought there might have even been content. I'd like to see a replay here. Nope, not getting a replay.
Yeah, OKC looking to cut it to 10 for the first time in a little bit. Shea coming off of 2 screens up top. Now they want to involve Hardy. Surely they talked about this at halftime. There's Giddy wide open. There's the same setup. Can't make him pay. Nice rebound, and that Jalen Williams went flying there. I also don't love Giddy and Chet not being together because they just are really unathletic. There's a lot of places to attack right now. Irving going to his right. Nice job there by Irving. He gets middle, and you put that guy on the weak side into great difficulty when you can get middle like that, changing the help side to the strong side. He's not going to be able to get back there in time. And nice job there by Shea. I thought he's actually had a couple of chances in this game to get guys in the air and draw the foul, and that's his first attempt at that. But Dallas hitting another 3, and they're back up 15.
And Gilgeous-Alexander getting a big on him and then driving by him has been some of OKC's best offense so far in this one. Overall, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 5 of 6 in the restricted area, but 1 of 5 from floater range, 2 of 2 from mid-range, and split his 2 3-pointers.
So I actually felt like the Giddy minutes were the most damaging that they've been, even though they didn't lose them. The lineup that Dallas had out there at the end of the first quarter, I thought was really bad. And they had like 4 guys I thought who were like not great defenders. Like Green was their best defender on the perimeter in that group. And they couldn't really take advantage in part because the center was guarding Giddy. And so, and Dana was like, yeah, we're not getting killed while he's out there, so I'll leave him out there. But they could have been killing that lineup. Here's Irving against Wallace. Wallace standing tall. Irving gets him in the air, but Wallace, great defense there without fouling. I thought he was going to land on him for sure. Now Shea in transition, backs in on Green. Gafford coming over on the strong side. They try to cut to the basket. Giddy not in a space position, but they do get Wallace's 3-pointer. And man, that guy just doesn't really seem to miss. And it's down to an 11-point lead again with a timeout by Jason Kidd.
Yeah, Cason Wallace has one of the more bizarre offensive profiles that you see because he has on the year 61% true shooting, which is phenomenal. And he's shooting 42% from 3, 57% on 2s, but his usage rate is 13%. You almost never see someone that efficient who touches the ball so little. What is the most stark difference in Kidd's coaching in contrast to his Nets tenure a decade ago? I'll focus more on his Bucks tenure. I'm more that's more like in my memory right now. And one of the things that Jason Kidd did really poorly then, and I think he's doing a much better job of now, is tailoring his schemes, tailoring on offense and on defense, but especially on defense, to the personnel that he has. And that is one of the things that Nico Harrison deserves credit for at the trade deadline, was bringing in Gafford in addition to Lively, who they already had, is understanding, okay, well, we need our center around the basket. We need to get in these sorts of circumstances and make sure that works. And they've had some success, and they understanding like kind of what you need and what you don't need around Luka and Kyrie. And those things were huge problems for the Bucks and stood in stark contrast to once Budenholzer took over with not the same but similar personnel and was able to get more out of it. I think Kidd is doing a good job maximizing his personnel in this stop.
So I hadn't realized this as I watched the first half. Dallas is a 125 offensive rating. You're like, oh, 71 points is not that much, but they're only in 57 possessions right now. So they've been really, they've done a lot in transition, but they've also been kind of taking the air out of the ball and also forcing OKC to play pretty slowly as well once Dallas gets into the half court.
And also, Dallas hasn't had a ton of offensive rebounds in this game, but they've scored very well off of them. So they've only gotten 26% of their misses. That's actually lower than a lot of the games in the series, but they're scoring 1.4 points every time they get one of those.
Yeah, really nobody has been getting to the foul line in this game, although part of the reason Dallas hasn't been is they've gotten all these dunks where OKC actually hasn't been that close to them.
For sure. Do you think Cason Wallace should be starting over Joe and Giddey? I do. I think I can't remember if Nate does, but I think Cason Wallace.
Yeah, they've looked good. I think with when it's been Joe with their starters, I think their offense has actually looked pretty decent. Now that of course gives them the ability to force a 2 on the ball, which hurt them particularly at the start of this quarter. So yeah, I think it would be Cason Wallace to me. I've said that also because then you can that allows you to kind of push everyone down and have J-Dub guarding PJ Washington. It is Wallace on Irving still here. They try to set that little Terry Stotts flare screen for Irving, and now ISO him. Wiggins comes over strong side. Williams is fighting with Gafford underneath. They move it to Jones into the lane. Gafford in the dunker spot. Offensive foul.
Jalen Williams draws a lot of those. Let's see if I agree with this one. He's there. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I don't love when guys still have their momentum going forward a little bit and get the charge because that makes it look like the collision is worse than it actually is. Here's Shea ripping through, gets space on Jones Jr., and Jones Jr. looked to get a piece. Wiggins, though, keeps it alive. Shea going to go right back. Everyone on OKC is near the baseline here, though, so Shea tried to draw the foul. Giddey, quick pass. Here's Wiggins into Gafford. They can't attack him. Now Wallace has to go for that, and Gafford gets the rebound, too. He contested so many of those drives. Yeah, the back to the bad old OKC spacing, and Irving going to his right, able to drain it off the back rim every time. It's looked like OKC has started to get it under double digits. Dallas comes back with a 3. Yeah, they're keeping Gafford out of the action again with Giddey. Here's Shea on the drive. Giddey goes to a weird floater. I guess he made it. That was very odd spacing, but okay.
But if you're building your offense around that, like the reason that you put Gafford on Giddey is for all of the possessions. What?
And looks like Wallace was holding Irving there as he was trying to cut through the lane. Irving will depart.
Irving's night so far, 12 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 3 assists. And I think he's played okay. It hasn't been a dominant performance, but they've been great when he's been on the floor.
Hell, Shea is 9 of 16. Rest of the team not so hot. Nobody else other than Giddey actually has shot over 50% for OKC. Oh, you got Luka guarded by Wiggins, and Wiggins, good effort. He's got the steal. He's going to push it here, but this is not going anywhere. Wow, he finished it.
Oh, I
I
did not
was
expect that
very
to go in.
surprised. I thought he was, because he's had some headlong drives that have been pretty ugly, but down to 10. That was great defense by Wiggins. He's had some bad drives, and he's gotten beat up by Luka, and he countered the trend in both respects. But then Hardy, that's what Hardy is in there to do, is give them just one more pick and roll threat when Luka is in there with no Kyrie, and he's got a couple of alley-oop dunks tonight set up by Jaden Hardy. Here's Shea over Luka, didn't quite get to his office, and Lively keeps it high off the rebound. They set the screen up at half court. They've started doing more of this, and we're gonna now get the offensive foul. That's been those guys have each given each other a foul here in the third. Lively and Dort.
That is Lively's third. He has 3. PJ Washington has 3. Gafford has 3. No one has 4.
Yeah, and Lively again is just pretty much every one of his screens. He's got his feet well outside the cone of his body.
Michael Malone needs to get a technical on it.
Now they're going after Hardy with Shea. Shea throws it up. Count it. Yeah, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 10 of 18 from the field now. Rest of the team is 16 of 45.
And I'll pull his third quarter only stats once it concludes. It's easier to wait a little bit on that. I think that could have been a no call. There wasn't much contact there, but Shea made the shot anyway.
Yeah, that was the old school initiate the contact. Maybe because he leans forward with the shoulder, that's where it comes from. Kid making that point, surely. But this is the first time it's been under double digits since the first half. Dort trying to turn Luka in the backcourt. Luka does get it across. They set the screen high, can't get it, goes back to it. Lively still can't get the screen. They try to set up the Spain pick and roll. Luka, 0 pass possession, and he hits it to get the 2-for-1. That was a massive shot. And Luka just getting 4 of those threes is so awesome for Dallas's offense. Here's Shea splitting, gets his man in the air. Oh, but there's Wallace in the dunker spot. No spacing. They missed Chet open under the rim. Shea tries again. Kick out. Dort. Shoot the ball, Dort. It's wide open. Instead, it's going to be Wallace's 3. Cornette contests from Lively. And now Dallas, again, it got under 9, and Dallas could push it back to 14 or 15. They go for the early double team. Mavs are pretty much ready for that at this point. Jones passes up the 3. It looks like Hardy will take the last shot. Along the baseline, kicks out Washington over Wallace. Left it short, and that's going to do it for a quarter with a lot of action. But in the end, Dallas outscores OKC by 2. They've dominated on the offensive end in this game. And OKC is going to have a lot of work to do again in the fourth to avoid going down 3-2.
So here are the stats for the third quarter that I think are pretty amazing. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 14 points, 5 of 8 from the field. The rest of the Thunder were 4 of 13 from the field. 4 of 13 isn't terrible, but that's worse than you would want. Shea also took all 4 of their free throws. So, I mean, it was really the Shea show. I thought he did reasonably well, but I mean, the other guys didn't make their shots, and Dallas being +2. And I didn't think that was I thought they were much better in the first half than they were in the third quarter. That is a concern.
Yeah, Dallas doing it 12 of 28 from downtown. They've made 4 more threes than OKC with 1 fewer attempt. Mavs have only taken 2 free throws in this game from Doncic. That's been it. And I have appreciated Doncic. Maybe he's feeling better because he's making his shots, just not complaining as much. And I think that maybe has helped him.
If you were offered front office jobs right now, would you take it? I have said that unless somebody offered me the main job, the answer is no, and no one's going to offer me that. So the answer is no. The only exception to that would be theoretically an expansion team would be fun, but there isn't one of those right now. So we'll have to see. I've always been obsessed with expansion teams in every sport. It's just one of my things.
Yeah, I mean, I would say no. My job is way less stressful. I can't imagine that anyone would offer me enough of a position in terms of salary and lifestyle that it'd be worth it. Like I got the best job here that I could think of at this point. I mean, all right, if someone offered me a general manager job, sure, but that would never happen. So,
Exactly.
I mean, it would really be. I it's probably that ship has passed at this point, especially like if I were 10 years younger and single, yeah, okay. But I mean, the lifestyle is miserable now too. And this is, I mean, I work hard, but I can at least work from anywhere right now, which is really nice and gives the family a lot of flexibility. So
So
I'm loving this.
so Dave, one of the questions we got, and I don't know that we can answer this fully, but who would be players that you would consider targeting as the Thunder to throw like all of their resources at? Like they brought up Lowry Markkinen as a possibility.
Yep, him, Paul George, KD. I do wonder about the cultural fit of KD, honestly. Yeah, Mikal Bridges maybe a little. I'm gonna actually, one of the things that's on my list is to really go through over the next few days and figure out who I think the offseason trade candidates might be. And so I would have a better answer for you after that.
Jokic. I like that somebody. I like that somebody on YouTube commented Jokic. I didn't see that when I said it.
So Daignault, he said basically we got to just trust that we're going to make these shots. But they also got to get back to playing great defense, which they largely have not. Here's Hardaway Jr. getting past Wiggins, and that's not good enough from Wiggins. Just out of position, kind of gambling for the steal, not really. Gives up easy penetration, but once more, Chet, not really effective on that penetration. I think they've really been trying to get into his body so that he can't move as easily to help. Here's Wallace missing another three. Wiggins did well to tip it out. Here's Williams on the drive. Lively is right there. Wiggins in the corner. He'll drive in. Tries to go for the reverse. Nope. Lively with a beautiful closeout, and he stayed right with him afterwards. Now Washington going at Chet, and he lost it. Will go the other way. I didn't see who it was who got a hand on that.
I thought it might have been Wiggins, but I'm not sure.
Switching Lively onto Williams. They like this matchup. Williams tries to give and go. And that was a great catch because Lively was on that pretty well, I thought. Smart move, but Williams was able to get his hand on it because it was right available for Lively to knock away. And now Luka is going to get the and one going through Dort, who was not in legal guarding position with his face.
And that is the second foul on Lou Dort, so he's not really in difficulty. This has been a pretty low foul game. Only 8 fouls on OKC in the entire contest, 15 on the Mavs.
Yeah, not a ton there, huh?
No.
Are they going to challenge this? Yeah, to take away a 3-point play? They have not thought about it. That angle didn't look particularly incriminating for Dort.
I don't think they would have called that an offense foul, though. I think it only takes one shot off the board.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did make it. You're right on that. Yeah, it was not really an offensive foul. I didn't think there was enough contact. So, yeah, you make a good point there. Holmgren. Now he's going to set the screen. They'll switch it. Here's Williams on the drive. And he finishes. Couple of nice finishes that time from Jalen Williams without Lively contesting at the rim. Irving and Doncic together here. Shea is out of the game, but surely not for long. Wallace went under the screen, and that enabled Luka to get right to the dotted line and finish. Luka has been fantastic, gutting it out when he clearly still doesn't have the lift on his shot. And Shea is still in, excuse me. Here's the drive by Williams. Luka comes over to dig, and Williams missed it. He had made 2 in a row, but those were at the rim. And OKC, the difference tonight between what took place is George's going to get a offensive or a defensive foul here going through Irving is that OKC is just not defending the Mavericks at all. This has been their worst defensive game of the series by a mile. And yeah, clear defensive foul there on Dort.
Has Shea touched the ball in the fourth quarter? I can't remember him having
No,
touched.
I mean, I think they want him out there, but trying to see if they can get J-Dub going. Luka, nice pass, good closeout, but then a late closeout to Washington. That could have put him in big trouble, but here's the rebound on the long rebound. Luka going for the dagger.
And that was a phenomenal tip from Kyrie Irving. He couldn't grab the rebound, just knock it out, create a second chance.
Yeah, so we're getting pretty close to done here. 18-point game with 9:30 remaining, and Dallas is really just dominated. But the biggest thing that's going to be the storyline afterwards is Luka putting up a Luka-like stat line again at 31 points, 9 assists, 12 of 19 from the field, and most importantly, I would say 5 of 9 from 3. I believe this is his best shooting game from 3 or at least certainly since he hurt the knee.
So he was 5 of 8 in game 2. And yeah, that 5 of 8 in game 2, he was 30. The best he did in the Clipper series was 5 of 14.
What do you make of the Mavs out shooting the Thunder this series? Well, the Mavs have better passers to set up those shooters.
And that's a part of the story for, like, there were people talking about, oh, PJ Washington, he's been so poor, and he has been. But Dallas is generating better threes. They're generating better looks, and they have guys who aren't necessarily the most versatile three-point shooters. Nate and I talk a lot about the versatility of a guy's jump shot. They don't need to be. They're getting shots in their pocket in the exact spot they expect the ball. And so it's not going to be necessarily PJ Washington hitting them every night. But between Washington, Jones, Green, and Exum, or I guess in this case, maybe it'd be Jaden Hardy, like, they have enough guys who can convert those.
Well, and OKC gives up more threes intentionally than Dallas does. And OKC's been having to put 2 on the ball more in this series than Dallas. That's what leads to a lot of these open threes in the end. Talk of, would Denver rather play OKC or Dallas? I actually think they would rather play Dallas. Because I think OKC's offense is actually more built to hurt Denver because of the way that they get to the basket. And
it's a little decentralized in some ways. Like, they have a number of different guys they could dribble and attack. And so generally Denver's relying on a couple of specific defenders. And I don't recall KCP doing a phenomenal job on Shea.
Yeah, Luke obviously being a little hurt is not amazing either. And defensively, I'm not sure who matches up better. I'm not sure it wouldn't be Chet on Jokic. I think he would get bludgeoned there, but Chet's maybe a little bit more of that, like, great rim defender to guard Aaron Gordon. Denver could kill OKC on the offensive glass. I guess they would probably go Dort to guard Jokic. And
the Dort wagon.
And I think if Luka were 100%, then I might say they would rather play Dallas or they would rather play OKC. But then also they have home court against Dallas as well.
That's a great point.
Yeah, so if OKC can't cut into this very shortly, we're going to be done. Daignault, I think, has gone to his best lineup now. Yeah, he has. They're switching it. This is Hardaway Jr. on Holmgren, and they'll pick up the foul before Holmgren can shoot it. So Dallas going to a switching group. Lively's held up pretty well in these switches. He's gotten beat a couple of times, but it's also still prevented OKC from getting a lot of penetration. And Kid always likes to change things up after a timeout to take away whatever the ATO is. That time they switched everything. Let's see if they stay in that. Shea going to set the screen. He slips out of there. Williams says Chet was trying to set the flare screen. Wasn't ready for the ball. Here, Shea will take the step back to his left, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander continues to cook. He's got 27 points. Two screens for Luka. Wallace gets through it. They'll rescreen now. Chet is up higher. They find Lively. There's the rotation of the corner. Hardaway Jr. gets past Chet, left it short and off the rim. And finally, OKC has a rebound.
And a good job by OKC getting back for that rebound with Holmgren off the floor.
There's one from Dort, and he airballed it. Not even close.
I think he might have been trying to draw a foul there, but that was rough.
Gafford will check in after this. They've been alternating the centers per usual about every 4 minutes or so. They trap Luka way out on the floor. Here's Lively release. They get it to the corner. And Washington's traveled, actually. I thought he stepped on the sideline. Couldn't see his feet specifically to know that he traveled.
And that's only I guess that's the 12th turnover on Dallas. It's OKC that's actually been low turnover. They've only had 5 in the game, though 4 of those are live ball.
Going after Luka here in the pick and roll, and they try to bring Chet out as well. At the same time, they get penetration. They kick it to Dort. Wallace, they need this desperately. Another miss from OKC. Just execrable three-point shooting from the Thunder. 9 of 33 from downtown.
And that's been a huge efficiency sap for them because they're generating those shots. A fair amount of them have actually been pretty good, but they're just not making them at a high enough rate.
Yeah, and Dayton said, trust it. They don't really have much choice.
Yeah, they're not getting anything around the basket.
Here's Hardaway off the screen. Gets penetration, and he just lost it. The footsteps of Chet bothered him. OKC not really running, though. Good. Dallas's transition defense, again, has been amazing in this series. Triple team on Shea. Dort won't take that three. He's going to try to drive and kick. Chet underneath. That's one of the few times that Dort's drives off a closeout have been productive.
And it helps that it seemed to me like he was driving with the intent to pass there and was keeping his head up.
Down to 13. Now it's Luka with Dort behind him. Sprays it out. Hardaway, good close by Shea. Forced the air ball. That he got out there and surprised him. Here's Wallace. Now Shea picked up by Hardaway. He should go right now. Gafford comes over. He's got him on the yo-yo. Shea's got to get off the ball faster than that, though. He was double-teamed. Still on the ball. Good job forcing him towards the baseline by Hardaway where the help was. They're going to get a terrible shot that somehow goes in. That's the worst shot of the night. And OKC back into contact, kinda again. Keeping us around for the conclusion, perhaps, at least.
Absolutely keeping us around. Yeah, and as Steven breaks up, OKC being before that shot, they were. I think they're listed as 2 of 10 from 3. Did they not count that Dort one? 2 of 10 on the corners from the corners. So yeah, that's rough. And generally those have been their better shots.
Why do I think Chet isn't having success offensively in the series? Well, he hasn't shot it particularly well. I think they haven't had a great strategy to involve him as a role man. Part of it's been because he hasn't been guarded by the other team's center a lot of the time. And part of it is that he's not that good. Like his drive game is just, every time he tries to drive, he just doesn't actually get by the guy and takes a tough shot. What do I make of Dort's form? Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself the resident shot doctor. I can kind of tell when it's bad and maybe irredeemable, but I mean, he shot 40% this year. He's really improved a ton. I think he's not a guy who's a natural shooter, but there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think it's kind of high arcer, not very versatile. It's really difficult for him to shoot on the move because it takes him a while to load up and get that high arc, but it seems pretty good to me.
AJ asks what the value is of the kind of shot creating role players like Hardaway Jr. and Karis LeVert. And generally speaking, I think they're overvalued and many times overpaid, especially if they're limited on defense. There are times, depending on your team structure, that you need someone to create shots, even if they're bad shots. And so those circumstances, those players can be useful. But for me, that's more a circumstance where it's a break glass in case of emergency rather than something you prioritize. It's a part of the reason why I don't love Cam Thomas. That and that he's terrible on defense.
Why is Dallas better defensively than the playoffs in the regular season? Their numbers actually, once they moved
Post
Gafford
trade.
into the starting lineup, were excellent in the defensively down the end of the season. So I thought that was not necessarily going to hold up, and it has. So this has really just been a continuation of what's gone on there.
Has Jason Kidd finally become a good coach? He's definitely a lot better than he was. And it is worth remembering, considering, appreciating that just like players progress, and we talk all the time about how they do things, various different coaches over the years have gotten a lot better. I mean, Monty Williams at times got a lot better. There have been a lot of them in different times that have been, like that, getting a different stop. People have brought this up with Doc Rivers. The early part of his tenure was a little bit outside of my window, but coaches improve too. And Jason Kidd is doing a better job so far in Dallas than he did in either Milwaukee or in Brooklyn.
I think he's always been a coach who's had the respect of his players and his star players in particular, which, given the relationship between Luka and Rick Carlisle, was kind of job one. And I think he's done as good a job as you can as well, holding Luka accountable. Like, Luka has made improvements under his watch, even if there have been regressions on occasion. Going 1-2-2 zone here to mess up the ATO. Now they're going to match up man-to-man out of that. Here's Irving. Tough jumper. Had to rush it. And that's Dort getting the rebound. He dug it out. OKC looking to cut it under double digits for only the second time in this half. They go after Gafford and pick and roll. Switch. Shea cut off by Gafford. Good nail help. Shea's still on the ball. He had Dort there for a chance. Now to be Williams. He's going to go in and finishes. 8-point game.
And that was a great job taking advantage of PJ Washington using help instincts, moving away, and then J-Dub pushing in for the shot.
Remember that crazy game as it's a deflection in which OKC blew like a 30-point lead and then ended up winning anyway? Was that this year? That might have even been this year. Gafford switching on to Shea again. They set up the flare screen on the weak side. Shea on the drive, gets past him. Dort closed down by Jones. He's going to try to drive. Chet, pass was behind him. Dort reverting on his drives. That could have been a huge moment to cut it to 2 possessions. Now Irving gets plenty of space, pulls up. No, alley-oop, but Holmgren knocks it away. I think they're going to get Shea on the backside with this foul.
The foul was called on Shea. Let's see it here. There's not a lot there, but I mean, it did clearly impact him, and so the idea that something is more fair than a no call there, I agree with.
Yeah, big free throws. Dallas's 3rd and 4th attempts of the game. Gafford injured the hand in game 2, misses that one.
Well, one way to miss fewer free throws is to not take them.
Gafford has been excellent finishing around the basket. Gives himself a whap in the head, and surely he'll make this one as a result.
I'll have to get the analytics on that.
Does make that one back to a 9-point game. Dallas still a massive favorite. OKC is going to have to do it defensively. They have turned up the pressure. Going to try to get this switch again. Instead, it's Chet on the pop. Jones switches it late. Here's Holmgren. Oh, the lefty dunk off the jump step. Down to 7. This place is a madhouse as Irving's going to try to go one-on-one here. Doncic off the screen. Dort tried to draw the foul. He couldn't. Washington's wide open for 3, and that silences the crowd. Not a good time for Lou Dort to flop down. And also, I thought Doncic was relatively well contained there. He didn't need to help off the corner, and Doncic found him easily. Back to 10. Shea blows by Washington. Dort up top. Williams. He gets into the lane, has to pull up over Doncic's help, and it's back down again. I think they called that. How is it 9 right now? Thought they got it down to 7 and then hit it 3. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Here's Doncic trying to step through. Irving, Dort, now Doncic into the corner. Washington, good close by Shea. Shea blocked that. Washington again, and he crams it.
Yeah, I'm not. I think there might be something weird with the score. Actually, I think TNT's score might be wrong.
Yeah, I've got it 95-85 right now.
I agree. I think that's what the score is.
They go after Luka in pick and roll now. Shea has created everything. He's looking a little tired. Gets into the lane, trips out, tried to draw it, and he is going to get it. Luka wants the review.
The ref who called that, I don't think could see it. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I don't think that ref saw it.
A pregnant look at the replay guy, and yeah, that's a terrible call. The only contact there, we saw that in the New Orleans series. The only contact there is between Shea's forearm and Luka's body. Unless he trips him from behind on a different angle, I don't think that's a foul.
And so yeah, it does look like the score is 95-85 right now. I think they undercounted one shot.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't crazy. That's the most important thing.
Well, I was concerned too.
That I was crazy?
No, that I was, because I had the score. I was counting it differently as well. Does this series change the long-term upside for the Mavs for you?
Here, hold on. They're doing the replay.
Okay.
Oh, they were saying it. We couldn't hear it because Verizon's got to get their exposure here before they can actually talk about what's happening in the game right now.
They are very visible.
Yeah, is there a trip?
So the left arm of Luka, I think, is what they're going to keep.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't look like much, but I think it's enough to sustain the call.
Yeah. So this will be free throws then?
Yes, but not a made shot.
Ones. So Kidd is out of challenges. OKC has yet to use theirs. Oh, another missed free throw from Shea. Usually ridiculously reliable from there. And they really needed that one. Shea does get that, but 9-point game with 3:46 left. They've got about 8 possessions left to make up 9 points, and Dallas has the ball. This is the Irving Doncic pick and roll. Doncic wants to go at Case and Wallace. Traffic directed to the weak side. Here's Doncic going at Wallace. Good defense by Wallace, who's held up pretty darn well in that matchup. Shea behind the back at Irving into the lane. Kicks out. Williams accelerates. Kicks it. Wallace. Good closeout by Luka. Oh, he had Williams along the baseline. Didn't see him as Luka was too slow getting back. Here's Dort. He gets his man in the air. Has to fake again. Wallace has to fire the three. And the closeouts from the Dallas Mavericks have really flummoxed OKC in this series. Jones Jr. was awesome there.
And that was also a great box out by Derek Lively on Chet.
Now they go to the double team. They're trying to force some turnovers. High risk, high reward strategy. And Dort's going to pick up the foul. What's that on him?
I think that's his fourth. Yeah, that's Lou Dort's fourth and the fourth team foul as well. Dallas has only committed 2 fouls.
Yeah, OKC still fiending for a three-pointer, 10-35. And as much as you could say Dallas has dominated this game and they have gotten better threes, those 4 made threes are basically your difference in the score. Trying to screen for Kyrie, just goes and get the ball. They don't force him towards the baseline. 2 on the ball here. Here's Luka firing the three. Oh, that dagger goes in and out. That really could have just ended the game, but still plenty of cushion for Dallas. Dort's three, not even close. Didn't have his feet set. Really difficult for him to make shots in that circumstance. I understand going for it quick there, but just didn't have it.
2 for 8 from 3 for Lou Dort in this game.
And I think we're going to get Shea on a hold as Jones was trying to roll to the rim. Oh, no, they're going to the Haka, excuse me.
And so we'll see if it works any better here. But
yeah, I mean, you got to do it just to create more possessions at this point.
Only, well, I guess maybe 2 if they shoot fast enough here, because they're not going to pull lively. Makes the first.
Danny, you want to guess how many corner threes Dallas has taken in this game?
14.
21.
Oh my God.
Chet with the three. What? Oh, what a closeout by Jones. And they throw it ahead, and that's going to do it.
That was an incredible play by Derek Jones Jr.
I will see you tomorrow night for Game 6.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing these like pack line style of closeouts, but then OKC will get past that guy, and then the big is just right there again. So, all right, this was fun. We'll talk on Dunked On in about an hour or so, but and tomorrow I guess we'll be doing. Yeah, I guess we'll do that one tomorrow. All right, we'll talk to y'all then.